All right, place of peace and serenity. Love it. A place of calm. Oh, place of, what, do I hear drums? I don't know if I'm in the right place. Is this Teen Challenge Vermont?
You found it.
Let's rock!
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to another episode of Travels with Charlie, Vermont Politics in Real Life. We're in Johnson, Vermont today at Teen Challenge Vermont, and we're going to be talking about faith-based rehab and recovery. And my guest today, Pastor Rick Welch. Pastor Welch is the Executive Director of Teen Challenge Vermont, and Larry McGraw. Larry is the Executive Assistant. Thank you both for being with me today.
It's a pleasure. Thanks
Good to be here.
So Rick and Larry, one of the things that I found out just a moment ago is that you graduated the program. Larry, you did it in a shorter amount of time.
Yeah, I graduated
in other
back
words,
in 2009.
Yes, but you had been through about 4 or 5 other rehab programs.
Yes.
Rick, you said you were in the teens.
16.
16
And 56 times I detoxed.
different programs.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's something happening here that it works. It's worked for both of you. It's worked for hundreds of other individuals. It's a faith-based recovery. So how would you explain what the difference is and why this particular model is so successful other than the faith, or is faith really the key here? Pastor?
Yeah, faith is the key. For me, faith is the key and continues to be the key. We are a Christ-centered program. We make no bones about that. And we believe it's the J factor. We call it the J factor that makes all the difference in our recovery. Some
of these programs, I think you go in for 30 days and you're out, and maybe that's why it's the revolving door, in and out, in and out. This particular program, Teen Challenge, it's a commitment. Clients come here and they can expect to stay, in fact they have to commit to stay for a year to 15 months.
Yes.
That's got to be the longest in a type of recovery program that I've ever heard of. Is that a record?
I don't know if it's a record, but it certainly is effective and successful, because 30 days, you're just coming out. We like to say it took 24 years to walk into the woods, into addiction. How can I think I'm going to come out in 30 days? So we believe that you have to establish a good foundation, get some momentum behind you, and a year is a good solid amount of time, a year to 15 months to adapt to a different kind of lifestyle. And we believe in transformation. It's not so much in behavior, it's a change of mind, it's a change of heart, it's a change of the way that we perceive things.
What are the age requirements here?
Well, Teen Challenge, right, is kind of a misnomer. So we're trying to shift our branding now into adult and Teen Challenge. We serve 18-year-olds and up here in Vermont. So I remember people would say, hey, we see Teen Challenge, but when you come to our church, you're 30s, 40s, 50s, Our oldest graduate was a man named Chucky, and he was 79 when he graduated the program. And then he went on to be a missionary in Brazil. So, I mean, he came from a life of, drunk, alcoholic, to a place where he recovered, and he's working in Brazil as a missionary.
So it's never too old to start over again.
Absolutely. Like I said, you slate his wife clean.
Yeah.
And you have a chance to begin again.
One of the things I love about working here is the fact that we're so diverse. Many people want to get out of their area. They might be in an inner city, say in New Jersey, and they're just like, I need to get out, I need to get away. And so they look for the place that's farthest away, and they end up here in Johnson, Vermont.
Oh, we can take a look around. It certainly is.
So I get to work with probably the most ethnically and diverse group of people that you'll probably find in Vermont.
If somebody comes knocking on your door, as we talked earlier, there's maybe 2 things that might not allow them to stay here.
Yes.
Other than that, everyone's welcome. Would you kind of expound on that,
If
Larry?
they have an open mind and they're willing to change, and they know, they're in their, they know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
We're very blunt about that when they come in.
What are the 2 things that?
Well, the 2 different things that we would preclude anybody from coming in. One is if they're on the sex offender registry. That one would stop somebody from coming here. The other one is if they have any kind of record of arson. But other than that, we deal with legal issues here.
Yeah.
That's part of the, process. A lot of the men have a record. A lot of the men have to go to court or are on probation or parole. And that's a whole other story. Years ago, we had the parole board here because they wanted to come here and see about our program, because they would send men here and then they'd never see the men again in a bad way in front of them ever again. And they were wondering what it is that was different about us. And so we would have men come from all over the state.
Well, some of it obviously has to do with the fact that it's a long-term recovery. It's not a 30-day recovery, as we've talked about. It's 12 to 15 months. And it's a real commitment. Somebody comes here, they know that they're going to have to stay here for 12 to 15 months. They're here. The outside world is shut off. And in this day of, you don't go anywhere without your cell phone. That's the first thing they have to hand you, right?
They have to surrender their phone. But it's more, we understand, the need for, additional counseling. Some of our guys go out to mental health counselors. They go out to mental health counselors. Some of our guys are on some psychotropic medication. We understand the need for that. We're not blind to those needs. We also have professional life coaching for the guys. We have vocational training for the guys. We do recreation. I mean, it's just such a well-rounded program.
You've both lived a life of addiction, alcohol abuse. Can each of you describe that lowest point in your life? And for you, it didn't just happen once, happened 4 times you went into recovery. For you, Rick, it was multiple times, 16 times into recovery. Yeah. So was that last time the lowest, or are they all at that same point? Can you describe it, Larry?
Sure. I remember the exact day. It was my youngest son's 18th birthday, and my wife told me to get out. She said she'd had enough, and this was after a decade of blackout drinking. And she said, "You're no longer welcome in this house, and you need to find a place to go." And I realized I had no place to go. Well, I couldn't go to my mom's. I couldn't go. I had no friends. My older kids didn't want me around, and so I picked up the phone and I called here. And it surprised me because they answered right away, which didn't happen at any other rehab. It was an answering machine. And usually it was a 2 or 3 or 4 week wait. They asked me if I could come in today. And I was like, no, but I can come in tomorrow. And I walked through the door. As I had given every other place 30 days, I figured I'd give this one 60. So that's where I was. I was just at that, absolutely nowhere to turn, and having lost everything.
Rick, what was that lowest point for you?
The lowest point for me when I found myself homeless. One of the things I said I would never do was I would never be in a homeless shelter. And there I was in the homeless shelter. And then I got high, and they said, "You can't stay here because you got high. Now you're out of the homeless shelter." So I was on the streets, and I lived on the streets for 8 months because I was stubborn. I didn't want to do anything, and that's when my son came and found me. But the homelessness, the hopelessness, I was 128 pounds, I don't have that problem anymore. I was just tore up from the floor up. And I called Teen Challenge, and here I am 23 years later. And, you know, you look at what happened in my life. I'm an executive director of Vermont. I'm also the executive director of the program in Connecticut, the one that I came through. I mean, and that's not a pat on my back. That's thank you, Lord, for what you've done in my life.
How does it help you in talking with the people that you treat here? The fact that, and they all know it, the fact that you are recovered as well.
Oh, absolutely. It gives them hope. They can walk through these doors and have no idea what they even want. They just want to stop. And they just want some hope that it can stop. And so, you know, that's, you know, where I feel that, you know, what we bring here.
So one of the other things that you both have in common with the recovery here is not only that you were both recovering addicts, but you're also both musicians. Am I correct? You're a drummer.
Yeah.
In fact, you told us you played in a rock and roll band.
Uh-huh.
And Larry, you're a bass player. You play the bass.
Bass and guitar.
Bass
yes.
and guitar.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, one of the other things that sets this recovery program apart from others, it's not just the faith-based portion of it, but there's also music in it. And you told me earlier about the choir that you go out and you sing, and you sing and you play music here.
Yeah.
How is that instrumental, no pun intended, in the recovery here?
Well, I think, you know, when I first got into Teen Challenge and we went to the churches and they were doing praise and worship, and there was like drums and keyboards and, you know, electric guitars, and it was like, wow, you know, this is pretty cool, you know, and I liked that, and it really got me involved in because I love music, and most people love music. And we also encourage them to get involved, if they have any musical abilities. We say, come be part of the praise and worship team. Grab a guitar, grab the keyboards, stay away from the drums though. No. But we just encourage people to sing.
And if anyone's watching this today and they'd like to make a donation to Teen Challenge Vermont and have the money stay here in Vermont, how do they do that?
Well, there's two major ways I can think of right away. You can go onto our Facebook, which is just Teen Challenge Vermont, and you can donate through the donate button. The second one would be www.tcvermont.org. And on that very top header, you'll see a donate button, and you can just click on donate today.
And if someone knows of someone that could use your assistance here, that same website, and we can put that up on our screen.
Yeah, or you can call directly here. We will answer within 3 rings. That's our goal.
It's the rule.
And if the admissions coordinator is not here, we'll give out his cell phone number because he's always available. And we will take any kind of emergency intake call or any questions that they have about the program.
Ready for the magic wand?
Yeah.
This is the part of the
we love the magic
part of the program that I enjoy a lot.
Yeah.
And that's where we hand the magic wand off and let you make a wish, and you can hopefully get your wish.
Wow. Okay.
Pastor Rick, I'll let you go first.
There you go. Well, I'm going to wish. I'm going to wish, and I'm going to pray that when people see this show, that they will be more educated about what we do, and that they would tell somebody, and that several people who really need to come out of the life of addiction and hopelessness would give us a call or go on our website, and they would end up right here in this very room with the music, with the prayer, and getting to know the way out of the captivity that they're in. That's my wish.
Larry, that's a big wish.
That's a big wish.
But he didn't use it all up. There's a lot of power in that
There's a
wand.
lot of power in
yeah.
the wand. I'm going to wish and pray that every single one of our beds in our men's and women's home would be filled coming up in 2021.
All right.
Oh, you gave it the move, too.
Well, I saw that in the videos.
Thanks to both of my guests today, Pastor Rick Welch from Teen Challenge Vermont and Larry McGraw, the executive assistant. I want to remind you that you can see more episodes of Travels with Charlie, Vermont Politics in Real Life on Facebook and YouTube, and I'll see you in my travels.
And I'll be hanging round, covering lots of ground. If you'd be so kind to share what's on your mind, it's time well spent